that doubt is the key to knowledge. And I'm sure all of us sitting here can 100% say that even with 6 years completion of GST, all of us have far too many doubts in our mind. With this note, may we all give a big round of applause to ACAE Study Circle to carry the baton forward in the process of learning and relearning and sharing knowledge. On a count of 3, all of us, a big round of applause for today's session. And now I know all of you can feel we have the electrifying presence of our very own Shri Advocate JK Mittal. Sir, may I please request you to kindly grace the dais? And may I please request all of you to kindly give him a big round of applause. I also take the opportunity and privilege to kindly invite Shri Ashish Chandan IRS, Principal Commissioner, CGST and Central Excise, to kindly grace the dais. तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट चलनी चाहिए, please. It's very seldom that you have such prolific speakers all in one day under one roof for the subject of GST. So we all are here today, sir. We thank you with all our heart for sparing time today. And I take this opportunity to, and now for the man who never seems to age, with always his electrifying presence, we have with us the honor of the presence of Shri JK Mittal. Shri JK Mittal is a chartered accountant turned advocate. He is a law graduate from the Delhi University and a practicing advocate, particularly in indirect taxes in various high courts and the Apex Court. He is the co-chairman of National Council of Indirect Taxation, ASSOCHAM. The Supreme Court Bar Association has honored Mr. Mittal for 9 consecutive years, 2006 to 14, and also in the year 2016 to 18, on the occasion of the Constitution Day. Further, he is also an author of several books. Many of us obviously have had the privilege of reading them: The Law, Practice and Procedure of Service Tax, Introduction to GST, Handbook on Equalization Levy, Handbook of GST Law, and many others. May I please request all of you to once again welcome Sir with a thundering round of applause. May I now request CA Rashmi Chaucharya to kindly come forward and present a memento and Uttariya to Sir on behalf of ACAE Study Circle. Sir, आपने हमेशा कहा है, do what is right, not what is easy. And with these words, may I now request you kindly come forward and enlighten us with your deliberations for today. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. I think Mr. Jatin has spoken, one line about me, and then my introduction given by my friend on the dais has already charged the atmosphere, expecting me to, to deliver much more than your expectations. My topic of the day today has been kept the enforcement. In fact, whatever the law government makes, it depends upon its enforcement. The law, to my mind, is never good and bad. It results only, shows how it is being enforced. I start with what the statement made by, while dealing with the GST matter, Justice Chandrachud in year 2021. They said the parliament made a very good attempt to make a GST law, but enforcement agency has made it a draconian law. That is very well reported. And he further said they should not feel every SSC chore they have to rely upon. So today my presentation is the smallest one, but very attractive because each section is only one line almost. If you see, the presentations, it doesn't speak about anything, but still, if you will see in detail, you will find it speak a lot. It starts with the self-assessment. You file a return, you file reconciliation, monthly return, annual return, and then self-assessment. the self-assessment and enforcement, to my mind, never go hands in hands. They are opposite to each other. Since today Principal Commissioner is here, because how this word was picked up, the self-assessment in indirect tax, they picked up it from Income Tax Act. You ask Income Tax Commissioner to hear, he said completely self-assessment means we completely trust on our assessee. That means out of 6 crore returns are being filed, we picked up hardly maximum 6 lakhs return and scrutinized them. That means the very minimal, maybe 2%. But if you ask the GST peoples, they investigate each and every one. They never spared anyone. And they investigate their own way. That's why, long back, I proposed to the chairman CBIC, chairperson CBIC that time, why you don't omit the self-assessment? We will be happiest person. Because on the name of self-assessment, you people are harassing us. Because you can come at my door at any point of time. Every letter will say, you bring your records for the last 5 years or till date. Is it a self-assessment? We have to introspect. Then, what the chairperson that time said to me, we don't have enough officers. Therefore, we can't remove it. Because I said that era was probably much better once your officer was standing at my factory door and he was making an assessment, so that at least that point of time I was relieved because he has assessed it. If now I assessed, after 5 years you come, maybe 7 years or 8 years, no, you are tax chore. You evaded tax. That one has to think very seriously. In fact, once I saw in 2017, the GST law, I was amused to see. First they said monthly return. And then they said annual return. I thought why it has been done. It is done purposely. If somebody asks me what is my monthly income, do you need to ask me what is my annual return? You just multiply with the 12 or add up my each month totals. It will reflect you. So I have already filed my return. Why you are asking me annual return? Have you ever thought about it? It is purposely done. And I wrote to the Prime Minister, all these are purposely to breed corruption in the department only. Because the return, if is my monthly return, why not the onus is on the departmental officer to assess me immediately? Every time period they are counting with my annual return, not with my monthly return. So what I gain from my monthly return? Nothing. An annual return date you announced at your own way. 2017, 18, probably 2020. That means my time period never ends. What is this self-assessment? Really speaking, as a professional with whatever knowledge I have in my command, it is a cheating with the taxpayers, nothing but. Self-assessment only means either you repose the faith on the assessee and accept whatever he has filed. And onus should have been 100% on the departmental officers. Whenever he wants to come to my doorstep, he has to show what data's information he has. It is not happening at the ground level. Now it is 6-year-old baby. It is not 1 or 2 year. So you all are witnessing how the departmental officer implement this law. And probably this is the only law where the words has not been defined. They said inquiry. Nobody knows what is inquiry and who can do it. They said investigation. Nobody knows what is investigation and who can do it. They said audit. But the audit definition first time given, I can challenge 99% officers would not have seen what is the definition of audit. And that reflect. Recently I was going through their audit manual has come, probably 2023. By reading that, just couple of clauses I came to know. Only task available to the professionals. They are going to get the numerous clients. Every client will come for the same assessment year for 6 times to you. Because they said happily, even if your investigation going on, audit will be done. Audit is going on, investigation will be done. Why? Let's have a look to the definition of audit. Previous slide probably. This. I am reading it for the benefit of all of you. And you tell me and educate me what left after it. Audit means the examination of records, returns, other documents, and other is a very wider, maintained or furnished by registered person under this act. That means he is going to verify my all records, and then what is his task? And not only in this act or under any other laws also. I do not know what authority they get it. Like, if they ask me all other law, whether they will become income tax officer, or they will become, the company law officers, or whether they become, motor vehicle act officers, they will examine everything. And that's why I'm raising a question, very serious question. After audit, still investigation. And then further says, for the time being in force, to verify the correctness of the turnover declared, then tax paid, then refund claimed, and then my input tax credit availed, and to assess his compliances. If an officer has checked my turnover, he has checked what is the tax payable, what is the refund, what is my input tax credit. What GST officer has to do thereafter? He is not supposed to see my birth date to death date. He is supposed to see that whether I am paying due tax to the government under GST law, not under income tax law, not any other law. And I think it gives the complete things. He has to verify every records, and then he has to ensure that my compliances are done. Last word is the compliances. Before that, my tax, turnover, return, refund, etc., everything he has to see. I do not know under this earth who can empower any other officer thereafter do the verifications. That's why it leads to the another important jurisprudence of the taxation law. Do the officer has the review powers? No taxation officer under any taxation law has the review powers. That means he has done a complete assessment, is it not? Read it again and again. Don't stop. If you will ask me, if any client will come tomorrow, I will read it again. I will not left it, I know it. Therefore, after doing the audit, they said, one, they have created a preventive department. One, they created intelligence DGCI department. Blah, 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 so many departments. You are not concerned with this department. Like in any company, we have the personal department, we have the finance department, accounts department, purchase department, sales department. These are your internal department. So far as customer is concerned, he is concerned with that company, not with each and every department. Therefore, so far as their dividation of work, how they divide, how they created it is a department choice. But so far as assessee is concerned, you can come to his doorsteps only once for one period, not time and again. That's why just I will take 30 seconds to remind the EB judgments. And that was on the same very facts. When each year, for 10 years, every year departmental officer conducted audit. Thereafter DGCI people came. For the return, very return which they have filed under service tax, they said MD is arrested. Because the exemption they claimed was wrong. And only question I put it to the government, put it to the court. I said, sorry, not my client, the commissioner, you put it in jail. I said very bluntly, because the commissioner, what he has done the audit then? It was his onus. And the return figure which I have disclosed, they are admitting, they said this exemption is not available.
That means you have 5,000 officers. Should I take a certificate of all 5,000 officers? My assessing officer is the Noida. I went there, he assessed, and he is his certificate. If you say, I have given him the bribe, you send it to the CBI. If he said, your officer is not competent, you dismiss him. But you can't give power to the any other officers. He will come for the same very period, same very SSC. Therefore, I advise, if you want to deal with the enforcement in this tax law, you should be blunt, like Mr. Jatin said. You reply under which provision of the law you have asked. But you are afraid. You are a professional. Your job is to defend your client. Your job is not to be hobnob with the department. It is very clear in the mind. When a doctor is treating a patient, his job is to treat a patient. He doesn't see whether he was a terrorist or whether there was an allegation like that. If he will not treat, he will go to jail. The doctor has to be trustfully treat his patient. Therefore, if the audit is being done and departmental officers say this is the audit manual, this go in dustbin. They have no authority to make audit manual and go by this, that. Whatever they want to write, they should write in the law. Therefore, enforcement will go in a bad way. Once after making the law, then extra jurisdictional authority they exercise, which is beyond even the parliament. They said no, audit, investigation, everything will go hand in hand. It can never be permitted under the law. Then go further. If you read on this slide only, they said the self-assessment, then the scrutiny of return. And scrutiny of return was never been there in the central excise law, this kind of provision, or in the service tax law. They introduced a new provisions. I can't understand why they want to, I thought it in the morning, how I will, start my speech. Abhimanyu story, all we have learned from Mahabharata. So he learned how to enter into the Chakravyuh, but he doesn't know how to come out. If you read all the headline of all the section, this is like a Chakravyuh. They don't want you should enter and come out. That can never be a good law, taxation law. Revenue buoyancy shows how honest the taxpayer is. Otherwise, it would have been 99,000 and then 80,000, then 50,000. Even in the COVID periods, revenue goes up. Therefore, it is the duty of the government to respond. I recently said, when I was Delhi PhD chamber, I said, the day you declared highest tax, 1,55,000 crores, you declared there will be survey. Can you do so? In my office, I set a target, 1 crore rupees should be the income of this month or this year. And my staff was working so hard, they give me 2 crores. Should I investigate them or should I give them? So my SSC has paid me the tax of 1,55,000 crores, and the day you declare you will go for survey. Absolutely wrong under the law. There is no provision after the self-assessment for survey, etc. You have the concrete information, you hang the SSC. But you can't go like this. The 3 things which has taken out the time of the court of every high court in this country: cancellation of registration, stopping of your input tax credit, and your attachment of bank account. Only yesterday I was addressing a conference where the former CIT was sitting on the dais, because one trade association came, and requested me to address. They said, every day there is a one GST search in our area. Every day, without fail. I said, in last 30 years, you tell me whether income tax search was conducted in any of the premises. They said never. In last 30 years, not even a single search. But GST people do every day a search. I think something wrong somewhere which the government has to think seriously. Very seriously. Have you ever heard the PAN number was cancelled of any of the assessee, including those who run away from this country, siphoned of the money of thousands of crores? Even the government tells them. Have you hanged anyone? Have you cancelled passport of anyone? Those who are punished and behind the bar, those who are former chief minister of many states, not even a single one. You cancel registration, you read the judgment of every high courts. Every high court, they said, if you cancel a registration, you are losing money. If he will run his business, he will give you the tax and he will run his family also. We have to think why these are being enforced. If you can't attach a bank account of Vijay Mallya, when I was in the ministry, I said, he has not paid service tax after collecting, he has not paid TDS. Why you are not taking action against them? They were silent. But every SSC you go behind, that is absolute, that shows something seriously wrong in the implementation of the law. And unless it is already late. You read a Calcutta High Court judgments. Calcutta High Court said, division bench, you can't go audit investigation altogether. If audit has started, that should be the concluding point only. You cannot have multiple, but that judgment has no effect. Every SSC, I'm sure, must be facing same things because they know every SSC cannot hire lawyers, cannot go to the court. Court should be a guiding factor in one case, not in every case, every factors we have to go to them. You go further, section 61. Section 61 is only a scrutiny of return, but it's open up a Pandora box. It says thereafter he can decide for audit, then he can decide for special audit, then he can go for power for inspection and search, then he can go for show cause notice. I'm sorry. If they are so intelligent while drafting a provision of the law, ki section 61 means, I can remember as a student of 1991 in CA final, if I file my income tax return, there will be intimation under section 130, 143, 1A. That is the arithmetical accuracy he will check from my return. Scrutiny of return means whatever return I have uploaded, he will verify that. And that return, if he can gauge that much, ki I required a special audit or a audit by the departmental officer or search and seizures, I'm sorry, you are overriding the provision of section 67 means. A scrutiny of return can give you that much things. That means a power was, I'm sorry, I'm differing with my friend, Mr. Jatin, he said many safeguard is there. He was right in his own way. But if we read in a different perspective, what safeguard I have? What safeguard? Any officer can scrutinize return, go for search, go for this, go for that. No, it can never be permitted. Because I can bet when the GST law was drafted, the Prime Minister was very clear in his vision, it should be implemented. Therefore, 100 of officers probably start drafting the law, and they had no time to talk to each other. Therefore, each section is never sync with the other provision of the law. It is not the tax has been implemented first time in this country. They themselves are saying the GST is nothing but a collective wisdom of the already tax we had in this country. It is a combination of that only. Now go further. Next slide. Section 66, you read it. At the stage of scrutiny, inquiry, investigation, or other proceeding. Now again others, like other recourse in any other law. Mr. Jatin rightly said that for every communication there has to be some kind of provisions. Now you say other proceedings. You can go for special audit. Read section 35, they amended, the chartered accountant audit was removed. And this special audit will be done by chartered accountant only. One hand you feel he is incompetent, he is unnecessary. One hand he feel that your officers are not competent. He is competent. That's why they will entrust that task to you. Do you decide what you want to say? And then They come for section 65, you go to the previous slide, audit by departmental authority. Have you ever heard departmental officer will conduct audit? You read my judgment mega cap, where the court gives finding, the departmental officer is not even competent to conduct audit. They have no skill, they are not trained. अगर आप जीएसटी ऑफिसर को बोलो उनको फोरेंसिक एग्जामिनेशन करनी है, कैन दे डू इट? दिस द एक्सपर्ट पीपल विल डू इट, इज इट नॉट? दैट्स व्हाई यू हैव ए स्पेशल ऑडिट प्रोविजन बाय ए चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट. Instead of removing 65, they remove 35. Income tax, probably it started from before independence of this country. Have you ever heard even a single provision where the income tax officer will conduct the audit of your records? And still it is flying with the flying colors. Even though black money is there, still income tax is doing very well. Why the departmental officer will conduct audit? Why it is necessary? And you read, there is no safeguard at all under these provisions. 65 says, any time they can come for any financial years or part thereof. Audit is being done every year. If you do more than one, that is not called audit to my opinion. You ask a chartered accountant institute what is audit. If it is being done for the several years, it would be an in-depth investigation, not an audit. Why the Income Tax Law prescribe the audit of your accounts every year? Why the Companies Act prescribe the audit of your accounts for every year? They should have said any time for last 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, like with great respect the GST department is doing. There every letter will say for the since 2017 till date or for the last 5 years. They never know. In digital era, they never know when the last audit was conducted. Very serious thought one has to give. Onus has to be on department once the self-assessment is there. Like after the long queue at Delhi airport when Madhavraj Scindia visited there, now you have a DZ Yatra. You need not to meet that guy. You just scan your phone and go. That is the era we want. Whatever honest officer is there, honest assessee is there, can you get a certificate from the department? I think they wanted to have in this country GST rating. I think we have one provision in the GST law. Is it started? Why? Because the owners, they want to put everything on assessee. Why you have purchased from this? This is non-existence assessee. Assessee can never be non-existence, let me tell you on record. I can have a long debate with finance minister or their officers. Because that existence comes not because of myself, because of your certificate. You give me the existence. If you say a company is non-existence, it can never be. Then you put that officer behind the bar. He has given a false certificate. How you? Today I traveled from Delhi to here, and tomorrow you say, no, that Air India or the Vistara or any airlines is non-existence. भाई मैं तो उसमें बैठ के आया हूँ. मेरा काम इतना ही है. मेरा काम इतना नहीं है उसका जीएसटी सर्टिफिकेट देखूंगा, जाके देखूंगा उसने टैक्स दिया नहीं दिया. ये मेरा काम नहीं है. That is not my work at all. And your officer is putting this question to me. Something seriously wrong. You have to train your officers. जिस रेस्टोरेंट में आप खाना खाने गए हैं and you paid the bill and somebody blame you, no, he has not paid GST, then why you have not catch him? Why you have come to me? First question you should ask. Therefore, this GST, audit by the GST officer has no meaning with two reasons. Whether legally or illegally they are conducting. After GST audit, they still want investigations by any officer anywhere. And secondly, because they are exercising the review power. What certificate of GST reports will have? And I don't want to go in details, these GST officers or any other functioning, because like in GST law, only what good things I find which they never implements. Ki instead of SSC, now every officer also bound by the certain forms which are there. But they still send the वही plain page पे एक चिट्ठी से भेज देते हैं. I do not know. Inspector will write, superintendent will write, Ministry of Finance, superintendent, office of the superintendent. कभी officer of superintendent नहीं होता है. Office of the commissioner होता है. उसके नीचे सभी काम करते हैं. सभी अपना अपना लेटर ड्राफ्ट कर लेते हैं. How well? And no officer will write his phone number and email address. Every officer go by the Gmail. In Delhi High Court recently they said, no, हमारी NIC, email cannot carry so much of documents, that's why we use the Gmail. Gmail is how you will keep trail. Finance Minister said we want to keep trail. The Gmail is being used. Their mobile number they will mention. Why not the official number? Is the government of India don't give them the telephone? These are not the small things. If they send a hearing notice, and I wrote to the Revenue Secretary many times, they will write, you come before, such and such date in such and such bus. They will not write the name of the commissioner, name of the assistant commissioner, deputy commissioner, additional commissioner, where the hearing is fixed. They have the 10 additional commissioner. Where I will go? They don't write his room number. They don't write floor. You go to any High Court website, it is all for public domain. They will write the court number. They will write the floor. They will write the court timing, start at 10:30, 11 o'clock, 10:15. This department never know. Just they send a letter. This is not an enforcement. This very reading of that paper, I feel it is a cheating with the SSC. There has to be some fundamental change in the department. After GST or before GST, department has not changed. They want to change SSC. Everything is digital. But for the department officer, nothing is digital. Return which you have filed, GST return, they ask the copy of that return. Very funny. Somebody will laugh on these officers only. And to my surprise, when the Ministry of Finance recognized by issuing a circular regarding the summon, they recognized that many of our officers is asking in a routine manner GST returns which filed on portal, etc. And they did not write that officers should not ask. They said, you please avoid asking these things. Why? You should never ask. अरे भाई आपने GST का ही सत्यानाश कर दिया. जो रिटर्न है फाइल है पोर्टल पे उसको कभी मांग सकते हैं क्या आप? उसको कभी मांग सकते हैं? और ये भी शायद ऑफिसर्स को नहीं पता, सॉरी टू से दैट, कि जो आप प्रिंट आउट लेते हैं वो डस्टबिन होता है लीगल जुडिस पार्लेंस में, उसकी कोई वैलिडिटी नहीं है. जो मेरा डिजिटल साइन होके पोर्टल पे पड़ा वही वैलिड, उस फोटोकॉपी की कोई वैलिड नहीं. दे आस्क बैंक स्टेटमेंट फॉर द 1st July 2017 to till date. What they will do? Yeah, I have 20 bank accounts. My client, recently I just read in the file, he has given the 12 box file and it will go in dustbin. मजाक में कहूं तो मूंगफली खाएंगे उसकी बेच के. क्या बात करते हैं? First thing is legal parlance, they can have no right to ask me a bank statement because it is a bank statement. You go to a bank and ask, how I can give that statement? You write, I will write. If my SSC comes to me, I write. You have no right to ask me. You go to the bank. They ask 26 AS. It is the baby. It is the baby of government of India. I ask my counterparts, those who do income tax practice, कि 26 A कैसे फाइल होता है, कौन बनाता है? तो इसलिए कंप्यूटर अपने आप पैदा करता है. So they ask from that computer, not from me, because the law says under section 70, read it very carefully with my judgments also. They can ask a document from me. Ask a document from me, my document, not for Vijay Mallya documents. So if they ask you to bank statement, you ask politely to, You go to a bank, ask his statement. They ask 26A, you go to the income tax department, ask, how I can certify or sign a document which is not my documents. Therefore, these things in enforcement very material. You go further, section 66, you cross, at the bottom you see access to business premises, 71. Probably that section is not quoted, section 71, go to next slide. Read it carefully. How many words they have used? I think bottom to sky, whatever possible words could have been, they have used under section 71. They will check your software, hardware, this is for the purpose of scrutiny, verification. These words has not been defined. Therefore, every word they are including in this is not correct. Section 129, this is the most abused provisions. I can remember in 2017, when I was addressing a conference in Hyderabad, departmental senior most officers said one of the most beautiful things in GST is that we have removed the barrier on the check post. My counter view was that पहले उसको पता होता था किसको कितना पैसा देना है या कहाँ चेक कराना है. Now you can come anywhere. जैसे भगवान कहीं भी पैदा हो सकते हैं, कहीं भी आ सकते हैं. You just flag, ट्रक रोक लिया. अभी रिसेंट एक जजमेंट पड़ा जस्ट लास्ट डे. कलकत्ता हाई कोर्ट ओनली सेड, डिवीजन बेंच, just 2 minutes I will take. Calcutta High Court Division Bench said, they stop, one truck and the crane and something, over that, they will detain it. Calcutta High Court wrote, you will detain, how he will pay monthly installment? He will be defaulter. Then another agency will behind bar, he will defaulter of the loan. How he will run his business? And by the time this truck, crane, etc. will got also damaged. Do they have a parking place to keep it? Who will bear the brunt of that? You learn from Delhi advocates. They will say, okay, you want to detain. You give me the complete detail of it. कि कितना इसमें डीजल है, कितनी इसके टायर में हवा है, कैसा इसका कलर है. If anything got damaged, you are personally liable for that. You have to keep it. Detention does not mean you harass. By chance, they wake up and change one provision in 129. Earlier it was saying you pay tax and you pay penalty. Can they ask a tax? Tax section 9 read on supply, not on your detention. Therefore, many things could be said. Probably in the evening we are going to have a panel discussions. Something will come out. I would have said so many things, but that is the crux and reality which I day to day deal with. Though I earn lot of money because of all this complexity, all this harassment, but most of the times I never feel happy. And I said to my client, मेरी माँ ने मेरे को बहुत humble पैदा किया है. मैं आपको वकील की नज़र से नहीं देखता हूँ. मैं ये देखता हूँ कि आपको इतना दुखी वो कर रहे हैं, तो कैसे आप जीते होंगे. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a lot of food of thought.